Does social media really help authors and writers sell more books? This is a question that I get quite a bit from authors and writers, and it's actually asked through gritted teeth because they don't like social media. They don't like the idea of having to reach out to people and grow an audience. And I get it. There can be a love-hate relationship with social media. But in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can actually use social media to grow an audience and how you should use it to successfully market your book. So if you're new here, my name is Jen Hanson-dePaula, and I'm the co-founder of Mixus Media. And this channel is really dedicated to empowering and educating authors and writers to actually see success with their book marketing and social media efforts. And I'm really good at helping authors simplify the book marketing process and use social media to actually connect with readers. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I share new videos every Friday. And if you want some more guidance and really a jump start to your book marketing efforts, I have the Streamlined Book Marketing Guide. It is a quick start guide to help you get started with your book marketing and actually see results. And you can get that by clicking the link below. So let's get started. So when it comes to marketing, many times authors come to me and say, do I have to be on social media? I hate talking about myself. I hate talking about and asking for people to buy my book, and they just feel very uncomfortable. Many authors are introverts and they feel like it's putting themselves out there just a little too much. And I totally get that and understand. But many times there is just a general misunderstanding of what social media actually is and how it fits into the marketing process. And something that you need to know is that marketing and sales are two completely different things. Marketing is all about connection and building awareness. Sales come way down the line when you're actually going out there to sell your book. And it's not something that you really mesh together within the marketing process. Again, marketing is about building connections and building relationships with the people that you want to connect with. And social media allows us to reach a worldwide audience of people that are actually interested in what we have to say and are looking for books like we write. But the thing to remember about social media is that you do not have to connect with everyone. You just need to connect with the people that A, you want to connect with, and B, those that fit who your ideal reader is. And we're going to be talking about that here in just a minute. The way I like to look at social media is like an online cocktail party. You don't attend cocktail parties to sell. You go there to connect. You go there to mix and mingle and meet new people. It's very, very casual and it's more comfortable and laid back. And when you look at social media as an online cocktail party, you get this laid back sense, and it's realizing that I'm just here to connect with other people that I like, that I identify with, and who identify with me as well. So as we start talking about how to actually use social media to build awareness and connection, keep thinking about social media as being an online cocktail party. It's going to really help alleviate the preconceived notions that we have of social media, and it's going to make it so much more enjoyable and actually fun. So how do you feel about social media? Is it something that you kind of try to stay away from, or are you really interested in using it, but you just don't know how to use it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. So how can authors actually successfully use social media? Well, I'm going to walk you through 8 tips that you can follow and put into practice today to see bigger results. So number 1, you need to have clear goals. I know some people kind of roll their eyes at this, but this is so important because when we have a clear goal, it gives us something to aim at. If we just say, oh, I want to grow a large audience on social media, that's being too general. Be specific. Say, I want to gain 500 followers by the end of the month, or I want to increase my engagement by 10% by the end of the month. Getting something very specific in mind and having even smaller, more bite-sized goals is a great way to not only reach your goals faster and more successfully, but you can actually measure your success and you can see if you're on the right path or not. Number 2, know who you want to follow. I call this having an ideal reader. When we think about the perfect person to read our books, or if we have a client or a current reader that we say, I wish every person that read my book was like that, That is who your ideal reader is. It is the person who kind of sums up everything that you want in a reader. It's someone that you want to connect with, that you want to read your book, and who you want to help, who you want to entertain, and so on. So the thing that you need to remember is that with an ideal reader, it really helps you to focus, because I always tell authors, when you try to market your book to everyone, you're going to market it to no one. When we have an ideal reader, it empowers us to really understand the questions, the problems, the desires that our readers have, so we can create content that speaks directly to that. And it makes it so much easier just to talk to one person rather than thinking that you're talking to 10,000 people. So it really helps alleviate that nervousness and that intimidation on social media. And number 3, focus on 1 or 2 social media outlets. And this is incredibly important, especially if you are just starting off with social media. It can be very intimidating and it can feel very overwhelming. So focus on using 1 social media outlet and get used to that outlet and really become comfortable with the processes and procedures of how to best use that particular outlet. And then once you feel comfortable, you can add on more platforms as you wish, but focus on only 1 or 2. This is going to be the key to really help simplify your whole process, and it's going to help you focus to really create a deep community. And number 4, remember that social media is about your readers. It's not about you. So this might come as a bit of a surprise because we think, oh, it's my profile, it's my book that they're coming to see. But actually what people are thinking when they see your profile, they're looking at your content and your bio and saying, why should I follow this person? Why should I let them into my feed? They're trying to see what they are going to gain by following you. So when you approach your social media for your ideal readers, creating content that they're interested in and really showing why you and your book are worth their time and worth their time investment into spending on your social media outlet, it is going to really change the game. So remember, it's about your readers. It's not about you. Number 5, create content that speaks directly to your ideal reader. So in this video, I talked about creating content buckets, and you'll definitely want to check that one out to see what I mean by that. But content buckets, really to sum it up, is 3 or 4 specific types of content that you cycle through week after week. And what this does is it helps you to really give you parameters around the kind of content that you're sharing. It helps you to really focus, and it helps you to become known for something. This is something that many authors are, kind of intimidated by because they think, oh, if I only talk about the same 4 things, they're going to run out of ideas. Actually, it's just the opposite. You get even more ideas because you're able to really focus in on specific topics, and you can really reuse and regenerate a lot of the same information because it takes, on average, 8 impressions for anyone to actually take action. So cycling through these topics is really helpful because it's going to add to those impressions and it's going to make you known for something. So if you write about romantic comedies, if someone says, I really would like a romantic comedy book, they'll go, oh, you need to go to Jen. Or I need help researching how to sell real estate. Oh, you should go to Jan for that one. They'll know exactly who to send you to. So becoming known for something is really important. And number 6 is including calls to action. Calls to action are basically instructions for the next steps that you want your readers to take. So that might mean asking a question to start a conversation. That might mean driving them to your website or to sign up for your newsletter. It's really about telling them the next step that you want them to take. When we leave it open-ended and we don't say what we want them to do next, the conversation really just ends there. You need to be intentional with your content, and that also includes being intentional on where you want them to go and the next steps that you want them to take. And number 7 is to use social media to drive your newsletter subscriptions. This is huge because we never ever want our social media connections just to live on social media, because really we don't own our social media connections. Instagram does, Facebook does, TikTok does. And so we don't want those relationships to live there because they could go away at any time. We want to make sure that we are getting their email address and making that connection, that personal connection with them through email, because we own that connection. And so building that subscription list and really driving people to sign up for a newsletter incentive is a really great way to take our connections on social media and driving them to actually build our newsletter list. And the 8th and final step is to focus on building community. The biggest struggle that I hear authors having is they focus so much on the number of followers that they have on social media. The number of followers really is not a good indication of who your actual buyers are. When you build a community and you focus more on the strength of your relationships rather than just a number, this is not only going to make your social media experience so much more enjoyable, but it's going to make it so much more powerful, because when you build community and you build relationships, you really solidify these connections, and they are going to want to take the next step with you. They're going to want to subscribe to your newsletter list. They're going to want to buy your books because they're invested in you, and you have taken the care and time to really build these connections and relationships with them. It's not just focusing on growing a number, because the truth of the matter is that even if you have a huge number of followers, that is not a clear indication of how many books you're going to sell. Many times there are people who have millions of followers and they struggle to sell because they don't have that community. They don't have those true connections. So focusing on building a true community is the key to seeing success with your social media. So with these 8 tips, which number are you going to focus on next? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. So can you see how focusing on these 8 key tips will really help you to not only enjoy social media more, but it puts it in a different light and in a different perspective, because it's not just about selling. It's not just about growing a number. It's about building a community and really connecting with fellow book lovers, with people that you can help and that your book is going to help and change their life, or entertain them, or take them into a new world. There are so many things that authors can provide for their readers, and when you can create a true connection with them, it makes all the difference in the world. So if you found this information helpful, I would love for you to share it with your fellow authors, and be sure to hit like and subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing even more every Friday. And don't forget to download your free Streamlined book marketing guide. It's really going to help you get started with your book marketing, to simplify the process and to actually see bigger results. And I'll see you next time.